was a sound guy, that I would wait. Oh, there we go. Oh,
Is it working now?
Hello? Oh.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Or
Hey, guys. Hi, everybody. I guess we just start now.
we
Yeah.
can start?
It's time to go. Are we ready?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
There we go, good.
Thanks for coming to the panel. This is Crafting a Character. This is the first panel I've ever hosted, so if I've got rated, that's why.
Go
Thank
back,
you.
come on.
Thank you. Hello. Welcome. So, we are all Minecraft creators. We will obviously introduce ourselves a little bit. I am Beckymon. I play Minecraft, which we all like very much. And I do a lot of SMPs, all sorts of things, and we end up making a lot of characters and playing a lot of characters, as do my friends here. Would you like to say a little hello?
Hello, I'm Eloise, Suit for Eloise. I also like Minecraft, and I like to play characters and make characters. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting panel. I'm excited to sort of dive into how we each approach our characters and each approach storylines, because I feel like we've all got quite different takes on it.
Okay. Hello, I'm Owen. I also play Minecraft.
No way.
I know.
Wow.
It's very exciting. I think Bex has managed to collect like 4 different archetypes of writers. So it's going to be interesting to see how we differ. So yeah.
I'm AMZ, and guys, I also play Minecraft. I know,
Full house.
I know. And yeah, what Owen said is going to be very interesting to have like different sides of the way that we kind of create and role play and stuff like that, and I'm excited to dive into it.
Yeah, so we obviously play a lot of things like SMPs and Minecraft projects, and the main part of that for us is that we have to create characters to play on those SMPs, and there's a whole process that goes into them, so I thought, why don't we get a little behind-the-scenes look at what our thought process is. I'm hoping it can be a little educational, but also just like share a little bit of our side of things and what we do. So I'm just getting... I've got a clicker, so. So we're going to go a little bit about each of us, specifically like what we like to do first. So I think there should be videos, I'm hoping. This is mine.
No, don't say she's in the wall. I don't like this. I'm going to hear her just at some point.
This is turning into a horror show right now. Guys,
Stop it!
So nice to see you, Marty!
Oh, good.
Oh, friend! A friend is here! A friend, a Christmas friend!
If you let him blow up in my house, I'm going to be really mad. I got it. We did it.
Is it not working?
Sit back in my boat.
Do you have one of your other boats?
Oh, hang on 1 second, I just need to...
No, actually.
You just want to go out, don't you?
No!
Back, my boat.
Goodbye, friends.
Watch this, witness this, witness this.
Yeah.
Witness it, witness it. I'm a horse! I'm a spotty one now! Yes! Aloysius granted me such a great gift, and now I'm a horse! Like my dreams, I've had dreams like this, they've come true. So, my kind of specialty, if I have one, I hope, is comedy. I try and go for very heavy improv, less pre-planning, and I just sort of go in with a skeleton of a character. I mean, obviously, you've got the Prince, which is that one, and it's very much like I just start with a very, very basic thing, and I let the improvisation take the character to wherever, and that just means that it can genuinely end up wherever. I never really know. Nobody really knows. And I try and like go for sort of clippable moments and those sort of just silly, funny things, just trying to make people laugh. That's like what I like to do with my characters, personally. So next we have, I don't know actually.
I don't know how much time I got
Amy.
left. You?
I've got eternity left.
I picked these clips, so.
I don't know what's coming
Worry
up.
about them.
Luckily enough, I have a pill ready to go, so I'll blip out of here in a second.
I hope I see you in some other lifetime, Amy.
Yeah?
Even if you die. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look for you.
Oh gosh. This is weird. You know, I know that I'm about to go out, but I'm excited. I'm happy.
You're excited?
Yeah. I think I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time, and now that I know that this version of my death will mean something, I'm ready for it. You know, all of these other deaths I've had, all of these other things that have happened to me, it's been nothing more than a giant question mark. I've been used, I've been battered, I've had fun, I've lived, and I'm excited to move on.
Look, get a load of that guy. Yeah, honestly, obviously you see from the clips, if you're new to my kind of content, I like to do very dramatic kind of role play. I like to do very gay role play, which I'm sure you guys kind of, yeah, we go. I like to use, romance. I used to use sapphic media in what I do because, it's a medium I enjoy. I enjoy exploring that kind of storyline as well as seeing what else I can do and how screwed up I can make my characters. Which is a hilarious choice of characters that I do have here. Very screwed up in their own ways, but that's the way that I like kind of doing it and stuff. Also, please mind my voice. I've already lost it. I'm so sorry.
Next is Eloise.
Yeah, I got a gun.
You got a gun? I got a gun. Wait, look. Gun.
I feel like yours is big.
Oh no! No! I didn't know it was loaded. I'm so sorry. Oh my. Hiya. Howdy.
Well,
Hate
It's
that.
really hard to keep doing.
Hate that a lot.
What do you hate?
You.
I don't know how to cry in Western, Mayor. I don't know how to cry in Western. So I'm just gonna cry in British if that's okay. I'm gonna kill this guy. I'm gonna kill him. Every day you cause me problems. Every day.
he's dead.
I am not under any threat any more than the rest of us. I just wanted to do something nice for you. I only ask if our kingdoms ever battle, please do not wear it, for it would mean that I have committed treason, and I would commit many things for you, but I cannot have them know.
Hello. So there's my silly little guys. I think for me, a lot of my characters are extensions or exaggerations of myself. Sometimes they'll have traits that I would say are, I would like to hope I don't have. My Bannerfall character, she starts off a little bit snobby and uppity, and I would like to say that's not me, but I think generally, I like to play quite a light touch character. I'm definitely still in a role. I'm still bouncing off of the situation around me in how my character would do that and the relationships that I have. But I find it much easier to take who I am as a person and just exaggerate parts of that. And it's a lot of silliness. It's definitely a lot of silliness. It's a lot of being in love with Beckymon, which isn't in real life, by the way. But yeah, I love the little guys that I've created.
We now have Owen.
I don't care about the lever. Appa, why did you lie to me? You're my friend. I trusted you. I put my name on the line because we stood together in the mine and I asked you to swear to my face that you didn't do it. And you lied to me. Don't ever dirty my name again. Don't think it. Don't speak it. We are through.
What exactly are you playing at?
Why don't you sit down for a minute? We'll have a little talk.
I'd love to. I'd appreciate it if we did it without all of these blasts in my face.
Bunny, did you shoot Billy? And don't you lie to me.
Yeah, I shot him.
Why?
I believe, May, that the finest thing about you is not something that anyone could ever see just by looking. And I think, though your reign is over, we can all feel the heart of gold that you have carried forward throughout the kingdom. And it was important to me that you knew that.
Thank you.
Yes, hello. Poor guy at the start, he was really going through, wasn't he? Yeah, so a lot of my characters, there doesn't tend to be a lot of silliness or lighthearted. I think when the moments when I do get a little bit silly, it comes as a bit of a surprise because it's not to say that everybody I play is incredibly like doomed by the narrative sort of vibe. I try not to really drag the characters through the mud any more than they need to. But I do like the playing characters that have a lot of like flawed nature to them. I'm not too shy to play a villain. So if that opportunity presents itself, then I'll give it a shot. But you know, a lot of very morally grey characters. A lot of confliction in the way that they hold themselves and their morals. So excited to unpack that today as we go through.
Great. So we're now going to move on to sort of like just general like fundamentals to how we kind of go about making a character and how we play them. We're just going to sort of touch on all of these topics. So the first one is visual design. We love our character designs. You guys love our character designs. And I wanted to just sort of like go into the process that we go through to figure out how a character should look. So there's like, here there's some concept art, for example. So like, I just want to kind of throw this at the panel. Like, what kind of, would you say that you have a distinct look that you like your characters to have? Anything? So for me personally, I usually have my little like blonde hair pieces. They kind of just carry through as a thread through all of my character designs, so that you can see them there on my rat character, and I also had them on Sir Beck as well. Anything? Do you guys have a similar thing?
I have my ginger hair. I think that do you know what? Even in Outsiders, before I even had ginger hair, my character looked ginger. So I guess I just knew what was happening, what was up before I even knew it. No, my ginger hair, I think generally most of my characters tend to have quite a feminine appearance. I don't really have much beyond the hair that's like, I think carries through, but I tend to keep my characters quite feminine in their dress and their stylization.
I think one of the things is like kind of the opposite, where all my characters are quite masculine, like they very try and keep that throughout. And also the brown hair, I think, carries through. I didn't realize that until this question. I was like, damn, no, yeah, that's the common theme, really.
I don't think any of my characters have any visual indications of each other. Some of them don't even have faces, like the Owain here. Like, you don't ever get to see him. And I think I like playing characters. I played a character that looked nothing like him. His name was Sparrow from New Life. Like, it doesn't have to have the same hair color. Sometimes they're very feminine, like Pirates Owen. Sometimes they're very like broad. I think the only like underlying theme would be I have like a slight olive tone to my skin, and so that tends to run through a lot of the characters. Even if they happen to be a rat, they tend to have like that slightly darker fur. But no, in terms of like actual design, it could be anything. And the next one I actually have lined up, which I won't give any spoilers to, the next one I have lined up looks nothing like me. So that's an exciting thing to delve into.
Yeah, so in terms of like the process behind when you come up with a character, so say, you know, Owen's obviously, he runs the SMPs. You might go, hey guys, we're doing so-and-so SMP next. What to you guys comes first? Like, do you start with the kind of concept of a character, or do you start with a look and then build the character around it?
Honestly, for me, I literally go into it with like, I'm like, okay, I gotta make a character. I go onto Pinterest. I'm on Pinterest for a while. I doom scroll. I put some music on, and then something will kind of just click, or I'll see something, like a quote. A lot of the time it is a quote of something where I'll read it, and I'll read it over and over, and I'm like, I can base a character off this one thing. And then it just stems from there after scrolling and music and media, and I just keep going.
I think the concept for me comes first, but I'm very lucky to have my wife is an artist. So Luann does all of my conceptual art, which means that like after I've come up with like an initial idea of the vibe of the character, I'm then lucky enough to be able to go through different renditions and be there during the process where I actually get to like see him come alive. So that I'm very fortunate to be able to have like multiple renditions of that.
I was going to say, I think it depends. So for Bannerfall, I came up with the concept of my character first. I knew she was going to be a mage. I knew I wanted her to be like this avian hybrid, and I knew sort of I was like, she's from this sort of avian community. She's moved with her family, and I built that up first. And I was like, I want her to look quite elegant because this is her first time stepping out, and she really wants to prove herself. And that then influenced sort of how I designed her. But then likewise, I would say for my first Rats character, it was very much just like, she's an artist. She's going to look arty and cool. And I kind of actually left that a lot to the artist to come up with. I kind of gave a rough collage of ideas, and they sort of formed each other. Likewise in Rats 2, it was a continuation of what we'd already done.
And all that I really wanted added to the skin was we had our little nods to you and
being
I
in love.
rat
Yeah.
married. So
Yeah, I think also like it's been touched on, but like the setting of the whatever project it is also affects, like, you know, obviously you said you had picked a mage because we could pick one of the 3 classes, so then you kind of built it off of that. So it's kind of taking inspiration from the setting that you're given as well, can help do that. I also wanted to quickly touch on that how much we let the audience decide what the character looks like, because obviously sometimes our characters are just skins. Like, for instance, the Prince is literally just a Minecraft skin, and I have had the most horrific cryptid fan art of that character come out, and it's really, but it's added to sort of the lore and the general vibe of how I played the character and how I made it look. So I mean, you guys have obviously had a lot of fan art. Do we use that?
Yes, I actually use a lot of like fan fiction writing. There's one like artist in my community, which I'm going to shout out, which is Star Lua, who creates amazing fan fiction. And there's a lot of time where I can draw inspiration after reading that, where I'm like, that's incredible, and I like to kind of use that and utilize that in what I'm doing. So I'm like, I didn't think of that first, and that's brilliant.
I think the one time that I had something, sometimes it's against your will. Vampires Owen was not meant to be short. And then you all just decided he was. And after a while, there's only so many times that you can kind of go, I don't think that's, I'm definitely really tall. And then it just sticks.
He's 6 foot, I
He's
promise.
definitely 6'10" or something. But yeah, so I think like actually it's quite nice to be able to have that be like a dialogue that goes back and forth. I would say I kind of, if you don't mind me asking a question back, like, do you guys find that as time has gone on, there's more release of like the concept art or the visual art of a character when an SMP is announced? Because it used to be that like no one knew what your character looked like until you logged into the server. But I feel like there's been a recent trend where people have posted like, here's my character announcement and here's what they look like. I've like gone and commissioned a reference for you all to see. Do you think that like dissuades the community from like inputting stuff, or do you think it like helps them get a head start on what might be happening?
I think because that has changed, people now do release concept art usually beforehand. And what I'll say is, I think maybe to an extent, it means the fan art is less up for interpretation, because when it was just a skin, it's, at the end of the day, it's pixels. So you do have to interpret things on an individual level. Whereas if there is a concept art provided, it's like, oh, I know that this pixel was meant to represent like a feather or a ring. But I don't necessarily think that's like a bad thing. I think it's quite nice to have a clear idea, because I think the audience can then really attach to it.
I think it does tend to like encourage a lot more art.
Yes.
It's kind of it's a choice of, but I think that, like you said, it makes them more confident in like what, if artists want to pick it up, they know exactly what they're actually trying to draw. So that is an option.
Yeah.
We also just, it's nice. We indulge ourselves. I think we like to go and get all of this lovely art made of our characters as we envisage them. So and that's always fun to post.
It's like one of the things where it's like, no matter how many times I'll say a character of mine is tall, doesn't matter. They're always going to make them short. They're like, we don't care, actually. Like this character right here in the flight is like, no, they're like 5'6". No, they're not, apparently. No, they're short.
So
okay.
what we've
Love
learned
how
is
that counts as tall.
5'6", so tall.
what we've learned is you got to put 6 foot on the concept art, otherwise it's going nowhere. So we're going to move on to cinematics. These are obviously quite, I think, beloved by the community. We've got a little sort of mini montage to show you of them, and we're going to go into like what we use them for and why and when.
flashbang at the end there.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That was. I can go back, right? Yeah. Yeah. There we go. That's fine. Yeah. So obviously that was a lot of different. I tried to get a lot of different sort of mediums that we've used. But obviously Minecraft is, as much as it is a wonderful creative medium, it's also limited. We are all block people, and when we are streaming and we're live and we're talking from like our point of view, there's only so much we can show of anything else and the way we want to frame things and things we want to put across. So we often then go out and look at other types of media. So that can be cinematics, like when you see the Minecraft characters, but they're dramatically walking, and you've got some camera angles, and then you've got animatics, like we showed, where like, you know, it's an animation, it's completely not in Minecraft, and also we've even got IRL stuff that some of us have done, and they can be used for a lot of different things. So I just wanted to kind of picture, like, what kind of point do you go, I'm going to need a cinematic for this, or I'm going to need not just Minecraft for this?
I think it's often used as an opener. More recently, like it can be really used as like a strong, here's what the character stands for, better than I would be able to like improv it on the spot, or I might like stumble over my words. So I think that isn't often like any like large story beat as well. Like obviously there can be story beats that are improv, but if you need something to like hit a certain way, I think often having it pre-recorded can lend some power to that, especially because you can time it to a specific piece of music that works particularly well.
Yeah, like as you said, the openers are a very big thing. If I'm making a new character, I want to have like, even if there's no dialogue, I like to have music and then just seeing the character's full skin walking around and everything like that. Or like famously in The Realm, I made a lot of cinematics because a lot of happened and I didn't plan for it, which made it way more fun. It was kind of after a stream, I'd be like, I should make something for this for the next, and then I just go from there.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's often used as like, it's an emphasis on a story beat. Like if you really want to pull people in and pay attention to a certain point in your story, that is when you will use it. As silly as the rats one was, it was like, I had accidentally killed you at a picnic that was meant to be a date, and it was the first time I'd had any kind of turmoil, so I wanted to go all out on it and have this like moment, because the rest of it had been pretty easy breezy. And I think, yeah, it's quite common to be like, hey, look at this, you need to look now, this is important for what's happening in this server on this story.
Oh, sorry.
You go ahead.
I think there's also something to be said about like when you play a cinematic, no one can interrupt you. So if you're trying to say, okay, I've got to hit this interaction has to happen, this line has to be said, otherwise the story, I'm losing a bit of the story. If you leave and play a cinematic, then that will be said and the audience will hear and understand it. So that can also be like a really key use of a cinematic. What were you gonna?
I was gonna say, like, so during The Realm, you were like, you would end a stream and be like, I'm going to have to like frame that in a cinematic to get the story to where I need it to go.
Basically, so a lot of the time there would be clips. For example, when I lost a life, the dialogue or the framing in my head didn't look right. So the stream ended and I went back in replay and I reshot that scene as if there were different camera angles and then used that as my opener for the next. So it was like the dialogue matched up. There was no one was talking over each other, added better music. And it was kind of like I went back and I wanted it to look a certain way. And I made that my way.
Like a show recap.
Exactly. It was literally like, welcome back to the AMC, and it was just agony, agony, agony.
That was suffering
literally
again, in a new angle.
But yeah, that's like in my head, I was like, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to remake it. And
they're often, it's good for a finale.
Yes.
And without, pardon the pun, to go out with a bang. Yeah, I think it's just a nice moment when you want to, when you've had such an attachment to a story or a character, to wrap it up with something that just feels like it's giving a little bit more, it's giving a little bit more closure. Yeah, you
can really elevate the emotion as well, like
definitely.
we were saying about use of music, obviously. I mean, it was quite funny there where I had to sort of use a dramatic music and then we had the sort of funny sort of sauce cheese thing. But it's like, it means that you can, instead of having to maybe try and press the right music button on your stream deck while you're in the middle of trying to do lore, like in person, in the moment, you can just like make it match up perfectly. And it just gives that emotional punch, which is great for a finale. Did anyone, you guys, yeah? Yeah, so next one, if I just skip that. So we're kind of getting into sort of when we're actually playing the characters now. So we've made them, we've designed them, we kind of get it, and like we have a differing amount of pre-planning. Like Owen's, you do a lot of like narrative planning. You plan out a lot of what your character's gonna do, maybe an arc and stuff. Whereas I tend to just sort of go with whatever. But obviously sometimes my character will meet an Owen character or something, and there is a point where the pre-planning crosses over with the improv, which is sometimes hard to navigate. Do we want to like have a little chat about that?
Yeah, there's like almost an unagreed compromise that you and I have to make whenever we cross paths, because like you can't have all of this funny momentum and then have it be like, no, but it is really serious in the room. And likewise, it would be really strange for Owen to just suddenly be really like goofy. So we find like a medium that works for us in improv where like you're still kind of like getting digs at me, but I'm like treating it as if you're not being funny or silly. You're being like very serious.
I think the comedy side sort of has to kind of allow the serious side to stay serious. If one of you goes like, I'm just suffering so much, and I'm like, I want to grab a beer, like I can't go do that. It's not really, but like sometimes I could, sometimes I can't. It's a sort of, you have to concede to each other.
I think it's about reading each other a lot of the time. Like we're fortunate to have worked on a lot of projects together multiple times, so I feel like I can read you all now on when you're ready to do a bit of lore, or when I can try and bring the silly side out in Owen, and I'm like, I'm going to goof around now. Are you ready to goof around? So I think it's about reading one another and sort of the tone that person has set in their content that day. But I think you sort of get used to it. You sort of, well, that's my fan gone. You do get used to the characters around you. You learn to mold your own character to what that other content creator needs within theirs. Yeah, I mean, like I on Bannerfall, I would have my more serious conversations with Owen because I was like, I knew most of the time not to go over and just be silly, goofy, and jump on you and stuff and whatever. It would be, okay, this is the moment I can go to that person to like elevate what I want to say in this moment. So I think it's actually quite a useful tool.
I think that's a good point where it's like being on an SMP where there's so many different play styles. Like you said, it's like you can go to a character that you know is going to be a certain way. But then when those kind of paths cross sometimes, like me and you, for example, Beck, like I can play a quite serious character. But then when I'm with Beck, I'm like, we're going to have the most stupid hour of our lives. Like, and it's just going to happen.
It's a bit delirious.
It is a bit delirious. I bring out the best side and the worst side. And I think it's just kind of expecting that and also knowing us outside of this and then how it plays into it.
I think it also like adds to almost accentuate the characters' differences as well, because at the end of Bannerfall, slight spoilers, there was an element of like, Sir Beck was sort of riffing as we were going back down from the big fight, but there was like characters who were like actually about to die and they knew they were about to die.
I told off Sir Beck.
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
it was
Beck,
great
he's
because
dying.
Yeah, you're like read the room. What are you doing? But like that was good because you were in a kingdom that wasn't affiliated with the person that was like canonically dying, and so it like actually accentuated your character's like unbotheredness. Like,
I
why
was
should I
happy
care?
about it, so
Yeah, exactly. So I think it can actually help that in some sense.
I think that kind of leans into like how, you know, what are ways that we make sure that we get our character across? Like, how do we kind of, if we've got a character that we want to play, like, what do we do to make sure that when we're interacting, we're sticking to that?
I think
Sorry,
it can be, it's a mixture of things. I mean, there's obviously things like Cowboys had the accents. I'm really sorry to any Americans watching this. I know that was really painful for you guys, but frankly, I think some of us did quite a good job. There was the accent. So if you were doing your accent, it was like, I'm in character now, and I'm going to really use this to emphasize that, like, I'm a Western cowboy. And I, to an extent, even with Bannerfall, I think a lot of us kind of emphasized a poshness or a more seriousness, a Queen's English in our voices to sort of get this kind of nobility kingdom across.
So is that sort of practical, like,
yeah, it's quite
putting on a voice?
thing.
I mean, I have I do the Prince voice as well.
Yeah.
So there is just that.
Can you give us an example? I don't think I've heard it.
That would be telling.
Yes.
So yeah, there's that practical side. You guys want to?
I mean, with my characters, it's kind of like, I usually have like a kind of node that I kind of hit, where like half of the time it is just seeing like how many times I can flirt with a woman. But for like the flight, for example, there's like this very nonchalantness to my character that I have to keep trying to hit. Because I'm not a very nonchalant person, and it's very, weirdly enough, difficult to not care about people. So like my friends are talking to me and I've just got to be like, I don't care about you. And I'm like, I care about you so much. I'm so sorry. But I have to keep that going.
We were talking earlier, like sometimes we turn our cameras off if we really want to like stay in the character. Sometimes I'll say to my chat, I'll be like, it's a camera off stream. And if there's a camera on, then you probably know that I'm not really immersing myself in what's happening. Obviously, other people in the SMP don't know whether you have the camera on or off, but I think they can tell by the way that you hold yourself as you approach them.
I'd also say there's a lot of world building to it. Like in Rats, I created an art gallery. If you wanted to know where I was, there was a 90% chance I was in the art gallery. As soon as you walk in, I'm surrounded by what is my character's creation. It's what like my character is surrounding herself in. So I think and you had the climbing gym, and I think even just in the things that you build and the areas you surround yourself in, you're kind of asserting your character more in those moments. So like, I think it's more like, if you're in that zone that you've created, people might expect you more to be playing into your character than if you toddled off somewhere else in the map or in the build or whatever.
Yeah, for the sake of simplicity, like, it's nice to have a shtick. Like, it's nice for your characters to, like, Sir Beck loved horses, and I would just make sure that I was on the horse as much as possible when talking to people. Just otherwise, the people might not know that I loved horses for a second. It can be really helpful just to kind of go, this is something key about my character, and I'm going to just make sure, like, your nonchalance,
Were you ever a horse girl in real life? Ridden a horse?
No.
No,
You're a dog. You're a dog.
Just how good she is, guys.
I was really immersed. But so I just sort of building on that. So if you're, say, I don't know, you're trying to do a scene, you're trying to get something across in your character, and something does happen, whether it's an in-game thing, because sometimes we have unexpected deaths because Minecraft is Minecraft and Minecraft is hard. So if something really does happen that throws you off, like, what do you do in that situation?
I honestly, half the time I do just break. I mean, I remember one time I was doing the ASMP stream and Eloise was doing parkour and I'm streaming it. And this is like I had to turn this into a series, and Eloise misses the jump and just falls. And you see me on my camera go, Eloise! I'm like breaking. And I think there are all those moments where it's like, I do try and rein it back, but sometimes it's too far gone. And it's just like, I let that go in, and then I'm like, okay, I just do a joke where I'm like, okay, camera, light speed, and action, and I just go back into it.
We had the same on Area Unknown. Do you remember the note? And I put the wrong book in, and it was just like notes that I'd left about everyone.
I was like, I don't think this is right.
Crying, and I'm like, there are times when I think it is okay to break. Like the room just goes, okay, fine, let's have a little giggle. Like you're at the end of the day, a lot of the time we're working with our friends, so it's funny too. And then you go, okay, 3, 2, 1, you're back in the room. Let's concentrate. But I think, honestly, you become a bit seasoned with knowing that things are going to go wrong, and so you get quite used to just taking the knock on the shoulder and keep going. Like, say you got like downed or something before you intended to, you just go, all right, we'll fix this. It's going to be fine. We'll just keep going.
I think I want to hear from Owen as well, because he has the strongest, I'd say, narrative going on usually.
Sure, like the one that can't break, or he like.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I do. There's like, I think I'm afforded a lot of grace, especially in the PAL series, because I open up the streams, especially the like heavily narrative ones, which I'm like, okay, guys, you're also watching the admin POV. And so when something breaks, I'm going to go to full cam and we're just going to pick it up where we left off. And it will happen pretty much all the time, especially in a finale. And then I'll be like in spectator, and then I'll like fly somewhere, but while I'm in a certain area, there'll be 2 people that run up and stand near my spectator, and they just start yapping. Usually you, Beck, so like saying something. And so then I have to like tab back into the game and move again. So there's like, I think those like down moments help people to kind of like have a breather. And I think that's what makes a live medium so fun. It's a very unique part of Twitch in that you don't see this thing in like shows that you watch. So I don't think it's something that has to be like shied away from. I think you tend to own it.
Yeah, I think, there's a point in Battlefall where I think the whole event broke, and we literally we sort of just went on break, but live. And then when they said it was fixed, we literally went action and just sort of got back into
Started attacking each other again.
Yeah, we just jumped straight back in.
Just being like, hee hee hoo hoo. And then it was like, wait, get back to your side of the bridge.
Yeah, this kind of feeds quite well into the next section is like, I mean, we've already covered some of it, about breaking character and when to do that, because it's not just when unexpected things happen. There are times that we like choose for it to happen. Generally for me, it's comedy. Sometimes my character will cease to be because I need to say something funny in response to someone else, but even though my character would never ever say that. I think there's points where at the end of the day we are making content, so we try and make the content the best it can be, and sometimes we abandon the character to do that. I don't know if there's any examples or you guys want to build on that a little bit.
I had this moment in the finale of Bannerfall where I'm running across to meet you, Beck. I'm running. The war is on, and I'm running across to meet you, and I see Nom coming the other way, and I turn to Nom and I go, "Why have you been in Red Kingdom? Where are you going?" And then I realize I'm running to Red Kingdom, the thing I've just accused him of doing, and like obviously everything's meant to be very serious, and I just hear Nom burst out laughing, and like I think there are times when it like we kind of touched on, it's like something is just silly, like it would I think do an injustice to the content and to the fact that you get to have this live medium to try and play that off as a really serious moment and be like, well, actually it's because I was, it was much better in that moment for Nom to just break down laughing and me to be like, oh yeah, haha, sorry. And I think sometimes it actually speaks to the live nature of the content where, like, I don't know, either someone says something that you just don't know how to respond in character, or something silly comes up and you're just like, yeah, you kind of have this moment. You just go, I think it'd be better to just let this moment happen and to laugh, or to like respond and be like, I don't know, man. Like, because it doesn't all have to be pre-planned at the end of the day.
I think it depends a lot on like what kind of project you're in as well. Some allow for it more than others. I mean, we had Outsiders, which
no one broke character in Outsiders for the first 24 hours. I think one person made one joke and we all went. So that was like super serious.
That was no humor allowed. It's all angst only.
And then it kind of drifted over time.
But there were times when even there was a point where I accidentally was flying around while you were trying to be serious, and even then you didn't quite break character.
Yeah, it was like, oh my God, what is she doing? As she's like flying through the air. Like that's a normal thing.
One of the funniest clips ever to watch back, because you're just like, what is she doing?
And those kind of settings can make it quite difficult. And I think that we've learned from that honestly for live content, it's very difficult to have a no breaking character, no fun. Well, not no fun, but no funny, because you just will run into times where you have to, like, things will go wrong and you'll have to change what you're doing. You just end up with some very strange moments, basically. And also just, how do we break character? Like, if I wanted to break character, like, what do we do?
I mean, it helps if you have a voice. You tend to
just drop the voice.
You drop the voice for a bit. But yeah, I think laughing is usually the main indicator that there's something different, especially if you're talking to an enemy. So yeah.
Yeah, for Bannerfall it was quite easy. We're meant to be on enemy kingdoms. When I'd have Cam run over and be like, "Do you want to be best friends? Do you want to hang out?" I'm like, "Okay, so he's not Cam Bam in character here. That's just my friend Cam." The nature of that SMP made it much easier to tell when someone was playing character versus not. But yeah, dropping the voice, dropping your sort of like mannerisms.
Sometimes we just go out of character.
Yeah.
And then we just ask, like, what are you having for dinner?
Yeah,
like
that is literally where it's just like, okay, out of character, but, and then that just starts it all.
So it can be just that explicit, and that's fine. And then it just kind of becomes a sort of side moment. So this is one of the last ones, I think. This is about, I think this is a good one for you to start with as well, Elle. Like, how we balance being us as people and us as creators, and then being the characters that we've created. Obviously, it varies. There is a spectrum of how in character and how us we are. I'd like to think the Prince isn't me, but it remains to be seen. So how do we do that, and how do we choose how much of ourselves is in a character?
Well, as I mentioned, I put a lot. I just naturally do. I find it much harder to play. I'm not necessarily harder. I don't have as much fun if I don't get to be as much myself. And I am all about fun when making content. That's what I'm there to do. But I think there are lines. I mean, I think it was easier in things like Cowboys with the accent. Even in Bannerfall, you can completely tell in the first week when I started watching Bridgerton, because my voice really comes on and I get a lot more sort of
precise with how I say things and like the kind of phrases I use. But I mean, yeah, it can be hard. It can be hard if you are playing something that's sort of an extension of yourself. I think it's just you go and choose. You go, okay, I'm gonna like be me, but this character, like for you, you go, they're gonna play more like burly, strong, and things like that. For me, I'll be like, okay, this one's she's more reserved, or she's a little rude at times. She's a little, you know, well, actually, no, I am just stubborn, but like, she's more stubborn than I normally am. And I think sometimes maybe my audience might not know when I'm doing something in character versus just doing things for me. But I do try to
blend.
Yeah, I try to create a line. I mean, it's also like, for me and you in particular, obviously now, the Rat Wives have come across many universes, and we have that little bit before where we go, are we going to do this again, or are we going to find our separate characters? And I think that's specifically a line for us, because we are quite naturally drawn to one another in series, and we sort of just kind of, I think that's a little bit of us. Like,
it's all in character, guys. I don't know what she's talking about.
No, it's just our friendship. We naturally sort of navigate to one another and have our jokes. And I think we've learned to put that into a character. But we do have that conversation where we go, do you want to lean into that this time? Something that we quite naturally do as people, or do you want to focus individually on our own characters?
So, like, what about you guys? Owen, obviously, yours ends up being really different.
I cannot be my characters because...
And you find it easier the other way around.
Yeah, so it's probably a good thing that hopefully people don't see that my characters in me, because I've played a little
bit evil,
some morally abhorrent people. That's not to say that there aren't, like, I try and draw out parts of myself. So like the jester, I try to lean back on my like background in magic, and trying to be like quite tricky. I think for Pirate Owen, he was a little bit more like loose with himself. Bannerfall, there were like core tenets that he stuck by, which I personally have like sort of absolute tenets in my life that I try and abide by. So like there's elements there. But I can't be them. And so very often I have to make sure that people understand that the way I'm responding in character and the things that I'm doing aren't me, and they can't like follow me home, because otherwise problems will start arising.
I think there are a lot of themes with my characters that are very like themes that I've gone through. Like one of the big characters, which is like my original like CMZ, like a big thing for her was like grief. And like, so I put a lot of my real life knowledge into that. But in the same way that I kind of put little tidbits like stubbornness or, you know, my flirty behavior, because, you know, that follows every character that I play. Don't know why. But another thing is I actually find myself learning a lot about myself through some characters that I play. Like there was one character in Area Unknown, which was like this demon character. So obviously nothing like me. But the character was also a metaphor for being trans and like experience that in the real world. And I remember playing this character and I was like kind of seeing like how much I enjoyed playing that character. And I remember sitting there going, oh no, there's a pronoun change coming. And then, like in the same way that I give a lot to my characters, I think I learn a lot as I play them too, which I think is nice.
Yeah, I find that like I'm sort of similar to Ellen, that like unless I'm doing something really outlandish, like the Prince, most of my characters, they have a lot of me in them, and I think that's because I like the way I do my characters is funny comedy, and I feel like I can more easily execute that if I'm just kind of being myself rather than trying to then like be a different person who's being funny, which is it's a tricky one for me. But I also find that I think that having that thread of myself through it, for me, I find is like nice consistency. I feel like people can come to a project that I'm in and probably guess what kind of character I'm playing at this point. Like I tend to play like quite big, strong, very, you know, strong, and I'm very in love characters. That, you know, I like, you know, Sebek is a big knight, and the Rat were like, I was a boxer, I was like very strong and went to the gym a lot. And so I try and that is that element of me that I sort of take through, not that I'm really big and strong or anything, but but it's like that same attitude, and I find that that's consistency. But obviously, like we've got also a couple of us don't do consistency at all, so you end up with like the opposite. So it's a completely different experience each time. You get a surprise, especially with Owen. Like you've got completely. You said your next one is nothing like you.
No, yeah, like, but in looks or in personality, and so it's not fun to be able to like unpack like how is he going to respond to specific events.
Sounds like a great guy.
Yeah. Wait, hang on.
But yeah, okay. So we're gonna got one more little bit. This is just more of a practical tips. How we actually act as our characters and what we do to prep for that too. So like, what do you guys do? So you were saying about your webcam that you may turn
turning webcam on helps because acting with your voice, it's not that it's any easier, but you can like remove a whole different medium of like actually emoting as you act. So that's something that can help.
I'd say,
yeah.
A lot of the time, if we know we're going to have a story beat and we know we're going to really need to delve into our characters, we'll message beforehand. Like Bannerfall, I messaged back before the ball, the big masquerade ball, and I was like, hey, just to let you know, at the end, I'm going to get a note, and I'm going to be really sad, and then you're going to read it, and you can react however you want, but I'm going to be very, very sad, so that then Beck can go into that stream knowing that there's a beat later on where you might have to take a more serious tone, and you're going to have to react to something. And that's not to say, like, we can't do it with improv, but I think when you know you want something to go a certain way and you want a scene to emit a certain message, I think it's like we have little conversations before. We kind of plan things, and sometimes that's just one message. Sometimes it'll be like, okay, so we're going to meet here, and then this is going to happen, and then that'll flow into this. And I think it just really helps us prep so that when we're live, we feel confident in what we're doing.
There's a thing that I used to do with like Ross where I would be like, hey, this is going to be the vibe. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen. Because then I can still have that kind of improv, and we did it with each other a lot. And it would be like, hey, there's going to be this kind of vibe. Do you want to do this? And we'd be like, yeah. So like it would be fully improv. We'd be reacting in real time, but at least we had that like, yeah, I can do that today. Or no, actually, I can't do that today. And that helps.
Minecraft worlds can be big and it's easy to lose people.
Exactly.
So at least if they know that you're looking for them, then you can find them, yeah.
In terms of like, do you do any sort of background prep for your character? I think like there's a level of like D&D comes into this sometimes. For Sir Beck specifically, I basically just wrote little notes about like each other character, just what I assumed my character would think of them upon like meeting them or seeing them for the first time. So I just had like a very gentle idea of like when I'm now interacting with them on the first day, what should I be thinking? What should Sir Beck be saying? I find that can be helpful, sort of just to get into your character's head and actually think about it in relation to the other people. I don't know if you guys do any sort of thing like that.
Two things. I make a Spotify playlist often. Luann is very good at finding songs that relate to my characters, and so I can then absorb the songs through that. And then also we watch a lot of media that tends to influence. Like I could point to New Life was inspired by Hunter x Hunter. Vampires was inspired by Castlevania. And there was Roy Good from a series called Godless, was basically one-to-one of Bunny from Cowboys. And so like I see these characters and the way that they work in the world, and I try and like absorb that as much as possible.
I love making a mood board. Making a mood board's my favorite, and like I just have literally characters from media like attached to it. Like the character I'm playing right now on the fly is very like Catra coded from She-Ra, and there's like 4 other characters which I just can't say what they're also like because it's just too much of a spoiler. But I love doing that as well.
There's also just like, and then on the other side there's like the practical side, turning off webcam. Sometimes it's like just picking the music that's on when you're doing a moment, like it's for a scene. Like when we did like a romance scene, I had like a song that I sort of liked the lyrics of for both of us, and I played it on the stream, so I was hearing it, and it helps you sort of put you in the zone. That sort of the practical in the moment, like how can I get this character across. So that's kind of like the fundamentals covered, I think. We've got, basically, we're not doing a live Q&A today. We did pre-submitted questions, but we've got some questions to sort of like throw to all 4 of us to sort of get a little bit more if we haven't covered it yet. So we kind of touched on this already. We've got SJR1010 asked, when it comes to brainstorming a character, what do you feel you take the most inspiration from to form them? like music, media, etc.?
Visual media, I think, for me, is
Oh, yeah?
one of the bigger ones. Just watching a series or movie can help, like, put you in the world and come up with a character. I can't say what I've been watching, but maybe in a few weeks, ask me what I've been watching, and then maybe I'll tell you.
Yeah, very much visual media. I mean, Bridgerton is what I lived and breathed for like the entirety of Bannerfall, and it really helped shape how I spoke and how I sort of just interacted in what I did. Even for Rats, is Arietti the little one?
Yeah, we watched that movie so many times.
Yeah,
Like,
it
inspiration for that.
really does help because it just helps you go, this is the world that I'm going to dive into. Also Pinterest. Pinterest is really good in the like crafting of your character stage when you're kind of seeking out that initial inspiration.
Oh, I love pose references. My
Yeah.
favorite. Yeah, for me it's music all the time. Like there is a specific thing that I do where every time I make a character, I attach a Phoebe Bridgers song. And I can literally I know all of my characters and exactly what Phoebe Bridgers songs is exactly them. And that's what I love to do.
For me, for inspiration, I don't know. I just sort of, I'm not really as much of a music person, so I don't have I have to really go looking up, try to find music. I find that just reading, I like reading, so I'd kind of just pull things from fantasy books or books that I've just read sometime in my life and sort of just mash them together. But like I said, I go in with a pretty light touch character, so I kind of go with archetypes anyway. So FedEx asks, how much about your characters' backstory and motivations do you share with the other cast members before the project starts? Which I thought was a really interesting.
That's a good question. Usually nothing, actually.
Yeah, same.
Because I don't want them to have any pre-existing thought about the character.
Yeah, virtually nothing. And if we could, I'm not going to say that's the way to do it, but if you're looking to get into character role play with other people, I would almost recommend try stick to it at least once where you don't tell anyone anything that's going to happen so that they find out as it goes on. You might find that you get a lot more nuanced conversation from it. Yeah.
I would not disagree, but I think it depends on the project you're in.
Sure, yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes when you are playing a character that's vastly different and is maybe rude or difficult to deal with, you might it would be very much some people might be drop a message, hey, I'm gonna be horrible today. Don't worry about it. It's just character.
Like a courtesy thing.
Yeah, it's just a courtesy thing so that other people's content isn't thrown off and they're like, oh, what the hell?
It's cool to be I'm gonna be rude, but you don't tell them why your character.
Yeah, it'd be hey, this is happening.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. They don't need to necessarily know why. If you would much rather someone prefer learn that through the content, which I think is definitely the better way of doing it. But a little courtesy, heads up sometimes.
I think Eloise and I will, like we said, go to each other beforehand and be like, are we in love this time? Please say yes. So that's, if you're trying to do, we've had characters that are siblings that figured that out beforehand. So if there's something that you want to do with a specific person, that can be really helpful. Obviously, you don't want to be hey, surprise, I'm your sister. You want them to know as well, if you're trying to tie backstories together. But yeah, otherwise, it's best not to say. You don't want to give it, and then because then you get that true improv, really, that they can figure out their character in relation to yours, as you're doing the same. So you get that, it feels fresh and feels, I don't know, spontaneous. What is your Prism asks? What is your favorite aspect of any character that you've made, like a quirk or a look or a little something they have?
I love my Banner 4 lady. She's so cool. She's got feathers, and I think it's cool. No, I don't know. I think I love the design. I think I worked with Moon for that, and she did such an incredible job. And I had this idea in my head, and then getting to see it come to life, I just absolutely loved it. I mean, I think my favorite little quirk of that was, and you coded it so that I would drop feathers, but I couldn't pick my own feathers up. They could only be picked up by other people, and it was just really funny, because I'll be honest, I didn't even notice I was doing it half the time, and then I'd look around and I'd see one, or someone else would be like, oh, you dropped a feather.
The feather thing was my idea.
Yes, it was.
I was I want to pick up her feathers. Is that okay?
Because I want to put them in my helmet. No, I loved the design of that character. I was about to say I've never done a character that's sort of not an animal one before, but that is absolutely not true. Obviously rats, but that was the nature of it. But yeah, I just loved the design of it. It was cool. It's my favorite.
they mentioned backstory part, so I'd have to say that the complete 180 twist of Outsiders for my character was probably one of the longest things in the work that I've ever done. Outsiders was a very long SMP. It lasted 1 year, the longest we've ever done.
Don't do that. So it's too long.
It's too long to do an SMP for 1 year. I mean, I don't think I'd ever do anything like that again. But I told virtually nobody, no one in the cast, and so it was just like cooking for the entire time. So that when it happened, I think it was like really left field. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite moments.
I think for me, like, I think just quirk of a character that I liked was my area unknown character, because it was like this loser boy, like with top surgery scars, and he's such an idiot. And it was like, I just loved the design of that character, because it was like, God, you're such an idiot. Like, you're just such a dumb loser. My bad. And it was just, I loved that about the character. I just loved the failing all the time.
For me, I don't know, the Prince is very dear to me, and there's like a broom item in the mod pack that we were using, so I started just cleaning up the mess and like holding it, and like I'd go up to people and wipe them with
I
the
was
broom.
subjected to this many
and it
times.
became just like this sort of catchphrase. So that's one of my favorites, I think. What else we got? We got this one I really liked. A Lover's Rose asked, so you've put all the time and effort and energy into like creating and conceptualizing and then playing a character, and the project has ended. Do you do anything to sort of retool or keep using the character in going forward, like after the project's done?
I never let go of anything I've ever done in my entire life.
You're still in the building.
I'm still in the
All of
building.
them.
Hey, I'm still there. You know what I mean? I don't do anything specifically. I think I listen to the songs or the playlists that I make, and they'll just come up sometimes. Or I have a community that also doesn't let go of anything I've ever done ever. So they always come up no matter what I'm doing, and I like that.
I think I have them in like a little box, and it's nice to be able to take that box out and be like, these are all the little guys that I've made. That one's going through a hard time. And like sometimes you can bring that out on stream when people want to see it. Not like a sort of performing show like, oh, let me put this hat on. But like there's a game called King of the Castle where you can role play as a monarch. And so I have a wheel that I can spin, and then all of the decisions I make are based off of the ethos and like the tenets of whatever character I land on. So you got to hope that you don't get like Outsiders Owen, otherwise the civilians are going to have like a really bad time. But yeah, that's like another thing. You can always dip into them. They're there if you want them.
I just have a picture of Rats 1 and Rats 2, Elle, and I look at her every day and I cry because I miss her so much. No, I mean, I think we do it as a group a little bit.
She's not dead. Like, she's okay.
Yeah,
The
she's
rats are
alive, but like, I never get to see her again. No, I think we all do it as a group a little bit. Like, often after the series has ended, we'll do different games. So like Peak, but we're in characters, or the Harpy Express, but we're in character. And I think it's nice during that period where you're still feeling quite attached to a project to have that little extension where you go, okay, well, we're gonna play with it a little bit more, but not in any kind of story situation.
Yeah, I think D&D works for that as well. We've done one shots both during projects and like after projects, and you can just, like Owen said, just pull them out of the box, and then we're there again. We're back in the building. So yeah, it'd be quite straightforward to do. So that is all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the panel. I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for coming, guys. Thank you.
Good job, Beckymon!
Can I take a real quick photo with you guys just for...
Stay
a second. Just 1 second. Could you take one of them and then we'll do a selfie? Thanks, guys. I just, it's my first one, guys. Oh, can you do it? Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.